All right, so we're back for another video. This one here is to go ahead and place some static cameras and create the function to switch between them. So what I'd figured we'd do is we'd put one over here in the corner, kind of like the top corner, somewhere around here. I don't know. Yeah, maybe right there. So we can get a good view of the world from that angle. And then we'll come over here in the center using the block as our reference and kind of do a top-down look. I'm not quite sure how it will look or how high or anything like that on either one, but we'll take a look and adjust as needed. We're going to start by grabbing this block and duplicating it just by holding the Alt key, of course. And then we're just going to bring it straight up. We're going to go high, just trying to, there it is. You got to hold the right key down. All right, so once we get it up to where we want it, right there looks good. We're going to go ahead and add the cameras. We're going to do it two different ways. The first one, we're just going to actually come over here and add the camera right to the component itself. And that actually does attach the camera. And if you notice, oh, there's the camera on the back. But if you notice, it still maintains the name of the cube because the cube is the parent actor. And then we can just select the camera, grab that little, there it is, and pull it forward so it won't be obstructed as far as views go. And then all we have to do is rotate it. Go straight down, 90-degree angle. And then you can see right there it's pointed right on down to where it needs to be. So then let's go ahead and, yeah, let's see what it looks like at the preview screen up. There it is. And now we'll just play around with it. Let's take a look at the different camera settings we can use. We can do with the lens, get the field of view. You want it close in, further out. We might be too high in the air, so let's set it about there. I don't think any of these settings are going to do us any good, so we'll move the block down. A little bit more. Perfect, right there. Okay, so with that being said, we just got to add the corner camera. And with this one, we're going to do it a little different. Instead of placing it as part of an actor, we're going to go ahead and right-click and place actor right there and look for camera. And that puts our camera right in the world for us. All right, so that's the one there. Now we just got to get it over to the corner. Again, I'm going to use the little preview as my guide to see how it's looking and where I want it to be placed. I think that's the 45-degree angle I was looking for. Okay, so there's our two cameras. We have one there and of course the one on top. So let's go ahead and save. And now we're just going to the project settings and we're going to add some actions. We're going to put 3 different ones in here so we can switch between the different cameras. So this one here is going to be the corner cam. And then top down cam. And this one, actually I think I'm going to switch the order, but we'll type it in anyway. So this is going to be player cam. And then we're just going to copy that, or actually cut it out, and we'll put that on top. The reason for that is we do start as the player view, so we'll stick with that. So now we'll just paste that in front of this one, cut that out, and then put that on the bottom. So we end up being player cam, corner cam, and top down cam. We'll make player cam key binding number 1, and then 2, and then of course top down will be 3. And yeah, that's our action bindings that we're going to need. It's going to be important to try to remember them and how they're spelled, of course. And now what we're going to do is transition over to C++, but first we need to make an actor. We're going to go ahead and make an actor class right there. And this actor is actually going to be our controller of the cameras. So we'll go ahead and call it camera director. Hit create, and we'll let this load up everything. All right, so now we're going to get right into the code. And of course, I like to start with the header file. And we're going to go ahead and put the include in. And I like to put the engine.h include in as a troubleshooting measure in case I need to do a debug string. So we'll get that in there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is to add a variable. This is actually going to be a pointer, so it's going to be a player controller, and we'll call it our player controller. All right, so the next thing is to create a U property. And this is going to be set to edit anywhere. It's going to be an A actor. And we're going to call this corner camera. And we can actually copy and paste this. We're going to leave this one corner camera. We'll put this one to player camera. And then this one, of course, will be top-down camera. And before we get started, I'm going to take a minute and do some commenting to section things off. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start declaring our function, starting with set player cam. And then we're going to do, of course, set player corner cam. And finally, we'll go ahead and declare the set top-down cam. All right, now with that said, we can go ahead and, yeah, there they are. I was waiting for the little squiggly lines. We'll go ahead and quickly define these. We'll just go ahead and create them ourselves. We're just going to copy those and bring them over here, and we'll just paste them in underneath the set player one. And from here, we'll go ahead and get these structured correctly. We'll add our curly braces in. And then we can't forget to go ahead and get our A camera director line that we have to put in front. Okay, now those are both set. And now we're just going to go ahead and move them to the bottom underneath the tick. All right, so now we can come up here, and I know we're going to need the Kismet header file for, what is it, gameplay statics. Yeah, there it is. And we're going to need that. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll put a comment right here, and it's just going to allow us to get the player controller. All right, so now in the begin play function, we're going to go ahead and set our player controller to uGameplay statics. And we're going to get player controller. And we're going to get it from, let me think, this world. So we're letting it know exactly what game world we want. And we're going to get player 0. Now we're going to set our player camera equal to our player controller. Get view target. And this is going to set the camera view to the player camera at the game start. All right, with that being said, I think this is a good spot to try to compile. All right, so we have some errors. let's take a look at them and see what we can figure out. All right, so there's one of our errors. We just need to go ahead and use all uppercase for these. Can't believe I missed that. Copy and paste those down. Okay, let's see what that does. Yeah, at least they're not underlined. Compile, save. I like to compile and save. Oh, another error. Something wrong with that one. I kind of see it. It looks like it is a typo on my part. Right there, PL. Make that a lowercase, and that should solve that one. I was going to say I like to compile save a lot, just because as I fix them, sometimes you can daisy chain, so if you have one error, it causes 4 others. So I like to compile after I know I fixed one, just to see what's left. And none. Okay. So let's continue on then. We're going to get started right with the set player cam method. There's going to be an if statement. Essentially, we're going to check our player controller to see if it's there, if we have one. If so, we're going to go ahead and do another if. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually check to see if our current camera is set to the player cam. In actuality, we're going to say if it's not set to the player cam, then we want to set it. So our player controller get view target is not equal to player camera, then we want to set it to our player camera. So all we have to do is our player controller, and instead of get, we'll use set view target, and we'll set it to the player camera. And really, that's pretty much it. We'll put a debug on here just so we can notify the player what happened. G-engine add on-screen debug message. We can now just copy and paste this right in. Make our changes to some of the code here. So instead of checking for player cam, we're going to check for corner camera. And set that to corner. And then of course we gotta, there it is. Must change the color of the text. And then we'll paste it down here and do the same process. We'll change this camera to top down and just copy and paste it. And then we got to change this one to top down. And again, we'll change the color here. Is lime a thing? Nope. Silver. All right. So I think that should be all the code. We're going to do a compile save. If everything goes good, it'll be amazing. There we go. So now let's put our actor into the world, our camera director, and we're going to set up our camera variables. So let's go with top down, use the eyedropper. If you can't use the eyedropper, you can just use the drop down list. Set that one. And then what I mean by that is like this one, we'll just drop down, look for our player, there it is, BP player character. And those are all set up. So now our camera director class knows what cameras it's going to mess with. Nothing crashes, we can still get into our game. Nothing's going to work yet, of course, because we haven't set the bindings. So we're going to go ahead and get that going right now. Alright, so the first thing I think we should do is kind of display on the screen letting other people know how to use the camera switching, a debug UI, if you will. So let's go ahead and find our begin play. And of course, we're going to start typing these in. It's important to note that it gets put on the screen in a top down. So we just need to change the order. We're also just going to get ready to do our bindings. So we'll do a little bit of commenting here. And then there's a trick we're going to have to use because we're going to want to pass parameters over. So let's go over to our header file. All right, so because we want to pass a variable using a keybind, which is the tricky part, that's what makes this so difficult. We're going to have to use a template that Unreal Engine has provided for us. So the method we're going to use is change view. It's going to have an int parameter, and the template is going to be, the following syntax here. And then, with a little bit of recursion, we're going to redeclare a new method of change view. This one's not going to have a parameter, but its code in between it is going to be calling our method with the information. You'll see how this plays out when we get over to the binding section. Essentially, we're going to put parameters within our bindings, and those will be passed to our method. So that being said, let's get over to our bindings here, and we'll put them right here. We're just going to copy and paste. Let's change this one, and this one is going to be player cam. And on the end here, we're going to change this to the change view. And this is where we're going to pass in the parameter. And it's 0 based, so 0. Now we can copy and paste that down. This one here is corner cam, and then of course top down. Yep. Okay, so now let's go ahead and define our function here. We'll just copy. We had that issue before. We're just going to go ahead and assume it's going to do the same thing and take care of it this way. So here we're going to do a for loop iterating over T actors. So the T actor iterator. And we're going to go ahead and iterate over the different camera directors. So basically we're going to iterate through the camera directors in our level, which is only one. So it's going to find that one. And we're going to find it in the get world. And then of course we just set up the other parameters. Don't like to see those underlined. We'll come back to that though. We're going to do another if statement, and this one here, we're going to go ahead and check that parameter that we're getting passed in. So if cam is equal to 0, then we're going to go ahead and, my IntelliSense isn't working, set player cam. We can actually copy and paste this down, except for it's going to be an else if. And of course we just need to change this to corner cam, and then copy it one more time down. Change that to 1 and this to 2. And this one's going to be the top down cam. Okay, everything looks okay so far. Let's go ahead, close these out. I hate having a lot of tabs. All right, so let's take a minute and compile this and see what kind of chaos we've got for ourselves. Oh, we've got some. Yeah, it doesn't like that, and I'm willing to bet, yeah, we didn't include. So we've got to include our camera director, camera director.h. And if it saves or recognizes, it should get rid of that. There it is. Compile, save, see if it gets rid of some of these other ones. It doesn't like the get world. It doesn't like that for some reason either. Aha! Forgot the A player character. We'll throw that in front, and that should resolve a lot of those other ones. Compile, save. As you can see, this is literally what I do. Compile, save, and keep going. Set player cam. It's not like in the method, so let's just double check. Maybe we got them spelled wrong. I don't think we do, but I did notice we forgot the brakes, so we'll throw those in. Let's see if we can force it up with the IntelliSense. Nope. Nope. Let's double check how it's spelled. Okay, that's our problem right there. They're all in protected. We need to make them public so our character will actually have access to them. And yep, that was it. Everything seemed to compile, so let's just double check, make sure there's nothing hidden. Okay, good thing we did. Let's put this to 1 and that to 2. Compile, save one more time, and hopefully this should do it. Let's go to our game. Here's the starter view, corner view. I can still move, see? Top view, yep, same thing. I can still move around, you can see me. And we're back to player view. All right, there's our static cameras, guys. Hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next video.